From going through our training and whatnot, that digital marketing is just an amplifier of what you already have. So
Yep.
it's more about capitalizing upon things that are really good,
Where's
kind of.
my camera? Oh, there we go. I think now my camera should work. What the? Got my camera on. Weird. Guess I can't figure out my camera.
On the laptop or desktop.
Yeah, I'm on a new laptop. It's very new.
Have you used Zoom on it before?
I wonder if I have to like approve or allow my camera.
Yeah, anytime you have a new device, you have to re-accept it every time.
Yeah.
You can quit out and come back in.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I'll
you have to
just.
do that.
You see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you and I see you. Okay, good. See me?
Yep.
All right. Well, congrats on turning around a new job so fast.
It's crazy. It was well needed though.
And home services is probably my favorite of all the categories.
Cool. Yeah,
Mhm.
this so far day 3 has been a whirlwind of a lot of learning. So this has been good.
Well, good. Let's add to that whirlwind.
Yeah.
All right. So from going through our training and whatnot, that digital marketing is just an amplifier of what you already have. So
Yep.
it's more about capitalizing upon things that are really good as opposed to like trying to do all these new random things, right? And
Mhm.
we already know that where's the one that I had open? I think I had it open yesterday. I got to reopen it. You've got a ton of SEO traffic from these calculators, and most of these, and when you build a calculator, what's a 2,000 square foot roof or whatever going to be, that it's not going to be in neighborhoods in Wisconsin, but that's okay. That's the nature of building. Not everything's going to have local intent, right? Like this local intent, roof installation near me, that's good, right? Air companies may or may not, which I think it's actually not. So, they lost it, but that's okay. That's not really a bad thing. Roof replacement cost, that's not a local intent. So obviously it's not showing up as local. So just because you rank on something doesn't mean you're winning an SEO, right?
Yep.
So I'd say the strongest, just externally from the data that I can tell, which is basically like what can Google see, you've got pretty strong SEO in terms of Google thinks that this is a reputable site about roofing, which happens to have some locations in Wisconsin. And because each of these locations, like Madison or whatnot, is actually linking to the GMB, and more importantly, the GMBs themselves, or Google Business Profiles as they're called now, are strong.
Yep.
That creates a really strong corroborating signal. So roofing, siding, windows, like this, you definitely have proven to Google that you do the thing that you say that you do, and you rank on a lot of these terms, but, and this is the part you're interested in. I mean, people are like, okay, yeah, but what, but what? But you're not doing well in the ads. I don't see the local service ads. I don't see the map results always there. You haven't claimed all the related citations and listings. It could be like Better Business Bureau and all these things, which you could just have one of your VAs. Hopefully you can just, as part of your new job, say like, look, I need to have a VA to do all this $3 an hour stuff because it's not worth my time, but it still needs to be done, right? Claim all the citations, just, low value but helpful stuff that you need to do. And then because you say that you are a neighborhood player, and we're a small business partner in each of these city pages, right? You have all these location pages, right?
Yep.
Madison times all these other locations, which is great, right? But
Yep.
when we look at the SEO, there's no links to it. And these location pages don't really carry any power. Why? Because just like almost every other home service business, when they do something for, Waukesha or Madison or whatever, these pages are all the freaking same thing. They just changed the name of the city, right? You know that.
Yeah.
Each of them you can see they're like, yep, guilty as charged. You never got around to personalizing it. Or what do we say about Madison versus Waukesha, whatever? Well, if you're a small business partner, then you should also say, hey, we do the roofing, but these are our other guys who also do the plumbing, and these are our friends who own the Italian restaurant, and these are whatever. And so you build kind of a link network. I don't want to say link network because that's the kind of thing that gets you busted. But so EAT, you show the relationships there. And I happen to have a lot of relationships with other Wisconsin businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and we can legitimately write guest articles and whatnot and do all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of stuff that would actually demonstrate more. You know what I mean when I say more EEAT, to show real proof instead of just like
Yep.
setting up a location
Yep.
page for every single city in Wisconsin.
Yeah, and the expert, authority, trust, all of that. Yep.
the experience, expertise, authority, trust, EEAT, right? So the real thing, AI can generate all the other stuff, but it needs to start with the real things. So, I could use AI to generate Waukesha this and Waukesha that, right? But if I show that I've actually been to whatever the name of that steakhouse is in Waukesha, is it not I'll just say Wisconsin. I have all these things. Where is it?
Yeah, so they're gonna be big in these shows. So like I was telling them we gotta do like 15-second videos at these shows. We gotta be taking pictures at these
Yeah, with
shows.
other roofing contractors, even if they're not in Madison, because it's either got to be in roofing or it has to be in the local, right? It's one or the other. And you just keep reinforcing both sides, right? So what does Marquette have anything to do with roofing? Nothing. But me as a semi-pro athlete, you can see like I hang on a second here. Hi there. Yeah. I'm just charging. So however long it takes do you need to charge? The thing's telling me it's going to take all day because it's charging like 3 miles per minute. It's super slow. Yeah, this is like the slowest charger I've ever seen. You go to supercharger. Yeah, these are slow. 3 miles per minute or yeah, 3 miles per minute. It's taking forever. Or not per minute, but I've been here like 20 minutes and it's charged 2 miles. 2 miles. Yeah, I'm at 64 miles. I'm on a call right now, by the way. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Trying to. How will this window go up? Hang on a second here. You there?
Yep.
Is you? Hang on a minute. There we go. Okay, so we've got to build these local relationships. So when the crews are out there doing jobs in different cities, like you said, 15-second videos, put it into a folder, and then the AI run by some smart VAs can do all the magic, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing I see because when I see the link authority or the experience level authority, I think you have like 180 something links, of which only three have any kind of real power, right?
It,
Like you got the
it
relationship
sounds like
with the Milwaukee Bucks, you have like you're at the conferences, you're actually well known, but there's very little proof in digital, as you can clearly
yeah.
see,
It
right?
sounds like to me too, when I was doing some research so far, they're paying a SEO firm quite a lot of money to do SEO. Um,
You realize there's no SEO being done.
yeah, that's what
There
I
is
just
no
see right
SEO.
now.
There's provably no SEO being done because what is the number one thing in SEO? Quality relevant backlinks.
Yeah.
And then relevant from other roofing companies and other companies in Wisconsin, right? That because that's the only stuff that's relevant. Well, guess what? Who's going to be better positioned to drive relevant links from other companies that rank in roofing, like other roofing companies? Someone who works at the roofing company or someone who is an SEO expert? Right?
Seriously.
And guess what? I have a lot of friends that own roofing companies, and they're also friends of mine, and we do a lot of stuff. And I could very easily have the Ethan of those companies talk to you, and then you guys do a little 10-minute podcast about whatever you want to talk. Have ChatGPT figure out like what you guys should talk about, okay? Changes
Yeah.
in the industry, or why we brought it in-house, or funny things about Dennis, or whatever it is that you want to do. And then that can be great guest blog posts
Seriously,
or
yeah.
great
That's the one thing
great
they need
things.
is blog posts and all of that eat content on the website. You're totally
Yeah,
right
there's
there.
no eat content. You gotta buy that whatever you're what day three into the job or whatever it is. So whatever you're being paid. The By firing this SEO company, you've instantly paid for your job
Yes, literally.
without even doing anything by just cutting the waste. Come on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they have to say because it's like, dude, if we've been working with them for years, they haven't provided much for any sort
For
of anything.
years. This is like the wife that you thought was loyal to you for years, and you found the whole time they were just cheating on you.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Right? Because I can see what they did. They created all these fake location pages and then they created a calculator. But the calculator, you understand why the calculator isn't necessarily a good thing, right?
I don't know that a full lot. That's pretty new to me is this calculator stuff.
All right, that's been like the hot thing in the last 2 or 3 years is building these calculators because
Mhm.
Google announced that, hey, we're looking at actual activity. So if people are actually like clicking and doing stuff, well, guess what? If we create a calculator, siding cost calculator, window cost calculator, and people are coming to it, but the trouble is, yes, this thing has 2,600 searches per month, and you've got, 900 of them, and you've got thousands of people that are coming. to use these calculators on, oh, what will it cost to repair this window or whatever, right? So that
Hmm.
SEO company, this is how you instantly evaluate an SEO company, and they can't argue it. Okay, great. You're ranking on 15,000 keywords, right? Wow, right? If I didn't know any
Yeah.
better, I'd say, well, that's amazing, right? Okay. You're ranking on 15,000 keywords. Most of it's coming from all these calculators here, right?
Yeah. I
Roofing
mean, the
cost
first four
calculator.
are all calculator.
Right. Okay. So let me just ask you, Ethan, what percent of these people who are figuring out what's it cost to do this and that for this size house or whatever, what percent of those are actually in an area that you serve?
Let's see.
What do you think?
It's hard to tell, but it looks like could be zero.
It's close to zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one actually does carry a little bit of power because it's showing a local pack SERP.
Okay.
Okay. But like here, but these other calculators, replacement cost. Like, okay, so what the SEO company will say is, yeah, but if we have all these calculators, then then that's like one step of the way towards helping us rank on roofing company near me, which is true. But the better way to look at it is how much money are, if you pay for PPC, you're going to evaluate your cost per call, cost per lead, right? You can do the
Yep.
same thing for SEO. So I'd look at this and say, okay, great. Paying you guys 5,000 a month or whatever the number is, right? And you guys have built these calculators, but let's just take a look inside the Google Analytics of all this SEO traffic that's coming in from these calculators or whatever. What percent of them turn into quotes that turn into jobs? How much money has been generated from this in the last year? And I think you're going to find the numbers very low.
Yeah, probably very low because most of these people that are doing a calculator aren't necessary like going to be a true lead for Infinity Roofing. Like
So
they're
what
just
you can
looking
do is
for a
if they come in,
guess.
if they come in from Los Angeles or let's say my buddy Zach in Colony Roofing. He's in Atlanta. He's got lots of locations now. So he's in Atlanta, okay? And if they do a quote on the roof, whatever, and they're in Atlanta, we could send them to our friend Zach at Colony Roofing, right?
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends in roofing. I probably know more people in roofing than you, but we'll see. Hopefully that will change soon, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And we go to go to Guarantee Roofing or these other roofing guys, and provided they're not in a city that you are in, which they're not, these guys, none of these guys are in Wisconsin, these roofers, then these guys are in Terre Haute, Indiana, right?
Okay.
So if they're searching, if they do the calculator, hey, what's it cost to repair my roof? And they come from Terre Haute, then send them to, oh, you know what? You might consider these guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also the roofing companies. Because think about it this way. How does Infinity Exteriors make money? Well, obviously people for roofing and windows and siding, right? You're not a SaaS company. You're not a newspaper as a content publisher. You're not an influencer. You're not any of those things. So why would you have a calculator? And the SEO company would say, well, because then when people go through a calculator, you can kind of qualify them because you know something about their house and they've already like half filled out a form on, because you understand like what they're trying to do. Yeah, but who should the calculator who is best served with a calculator? All the roofing companies, the whole industry. And it's not like a calculator is hard to build. ChatGPT can write the code for that instantly, as you know, right? So this gives you an angle to collaborate with all these other roofing companies. You could say, hey, you know what? We're not competitors. As long as you're not in Wisconsin, then we'd love to collaborate with you, as long as you abide by Google's practices and don't spam and this kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so the cool thing is with Infinity Roofing, we are a part of Infinity Home Services, which
Okay.
Infinity Home Services owns like, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 other roofing or exterior companies. So we could
And
literally
just
just,
tie them together. But
yeah,
none of these guys are tied together because the links, you're not even linking between them. I saw there was another Infinity thing. I didn't realize that was you guys, but
yeah,
like, look, there's almost nothing that comes. Okay, so here's all your Infinity brands,
yep.
but none of them. Okay, now you're not creating a link network. That's obviously going to get you busted by Google. But there's a lot of things that you can do to link between like in body links. Or I imagine there's an Ethan for each of these places, right?
We're hopefully getting there. I'm like the start. So.
So there's only one Ethan across all of these guys.
Yes, but there's a chief marketing officer. Her name is Gina. And
Uh-huh.
then I report to the regional marketing manager, whose name is John.
Okay.
So Infinity Home Services has a marketing team, which is Gina, John, another woman named Summer, and then I work for Infinity Roofing.
Oh, I see. So then, huh? Then how are you accountable to the parent ship or to the mothership?
Well, I'm trying to basically help Infinity Roofing become better at getting more leads, more business, which then basically helps Infinity Home Service because they're kind of like our corporate in a way.
Right.
They're
But do you get to run
yes,
your own ads and have your own budget and like how much is centralized
yes.
versus how much can you touch?
Well, we run LSAs right now, and we run Google Ads right now, and I have all the logins of all that stuff. John's kind of my boss, so
Okay.
he's somebody I report to that um we're going through the marketing budget right now, and it's seems like it's going to be around, I think the number is around 2 million.
2 million, but that includes all the ads too and labor.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not bad. I mean, two million is 160 a month. So that's good. That's enough money to play with.
Yeah.
And I imagine you're going to maximize everything you can with LSA first, and then the rest goes to Google Ads and other stuff, right?
Yep, that's my plan.
That's the smart
And
way to do it.
and they don't do any Facebook ads or anything like that, and I kind of want to get them to do like even just $1 a day, like just something
I,
small.
I think
Where we
that's the right way to put the majority of it into LSA. I put like whatever you can max out with LSA. And LSA you really because of the changes they've made, you really can't control the cost per lead. You just have to follow up on the lead so they give you more.
Yeah,
But it'll probably end for 2 million and you guys are in this is 2 million across all the roofing companies or just the one?
just ours, just ours. We're the biggest one so far out of all the ones on the back behind me.
So who's managing all the other ones if they don't have
Gina, that's
it?
CMO, and John, they work together to kind of figure everything out.
So their idea is they want to have an Ethan for each of these roofing companies or they want to centralize?
They want to get an Ethan for each one, so then they
Okay.
can still try to acquire other roofing companies.
Oh, are they like Lance Bachman where they're buying up and growing and selling roofing companies?
Basically, I think so.
Did you see the call of Lance and I? You know who Lance Bachman is, right? He started one SEO and
Yeah.
then he took the money and bought all these roofing companies. Now he's just selling roofing companies.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think we can beat him. Not like he's a competitor, but he's probably sitting on 100 million in cash because he keeps selling these companies. But anyway, so yeah, LSA.
John, when you have a moment, you should come over here. Okay.
I love. I mean, I'm gonna be. Are you in Madison? Where are you?
I'm in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee?
Yeah. So there's an airport here.
No, no, I've been to Milwaukee. I flew to Milwaukee for
Well, you just showed a picture of Marquette. You've been in Milwaukee.
yeah, yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, let's see. I have the Go Wild Pass. I can fly for a penny. Let's see. What is today? The 8th? Tomorrow's the 9th? $31. Why is it $31? Should be a dollar. What are they doing? I could be there tomorrow afternoon for $31.
If you want, you
Or you got a couch I can crash on?
can make it work. Could figure something out.
So that would be Thursday afternoon. I'll fly out tomorrow. And I'll see you Friday. Wait, this is Thursday. I'll see you Friday evening. Yeah? Oh, look, it saves
Friday,
$500.
Friday, John won't be here because he'll be at a trade show, but I'll be here.
Well, we can hang out.
Okay.
Look at this. People think like flying's such a big deal. Like you have to prepare. It's just like freaking getting on a plane and you just go. Saving $566. Cost me
So it's saying,
$31.
so you'll get here Thursday at 5:40. Is that what it's saying?
I'll get there
Yeah,
Friday.
Thursday. No, it's saying Thursday.
Yeah, it's leaving Thursday, but it gets in Friday because it's a red eye. It leaves Thursday evening.
Weird.
So see you Friday evening. Come pick me up at the airport at 5:40 on Friday.
Well, I won't be around Friday. So,
Oh,
yeah.
shoot. Well, let's pick another day. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not around this weekend. I
What about
gotta,
next? What about next week?
that should work.
What about the 16th?
Yeah, that should work.
How can that be a blackout?
So basically, our SEO is flat out garbage now.
What is garbage?
Our SEO that we've been paying for.
It's not that it's garbage, it's that you're paying a lot of money for nothing. And it's
You
some
want
calculate.
him to show
I mean,
you?
it's an argument.
I wouldn't be the right guy for that. Okay. But
Hang
no,
on.
we're
Hang
reducing our costs
on.
dramatically because of the template
Mark, I'm gonna call what's
website
up.
SEO approach. Yes, this will be. Let
Yep, I'm
me
gonna call
you,
Mark.
you just give me the download. Okay. I'm really gonna try to get
On a call. What's up? Quick.
cool. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, you're
Who
good.
was that?
Oh, he just said he's gotta run and do something, but he might be back.
Okay. Cool. Well, we'll figure
Okay.
out a
We'll
date.
figure something out.
Worry about that yeah.
Yep.
It's easy. The freaking 3 hour flight. Okay. There and back. So let's do it. Let's do it for Infinity.
Yep.
LSA.
So we do LSAs
All the
right
things
now.
that you
I think
okay.
if I show you, we do LSAs for all of our locations. So we have 6 locations. And if I go to Zoom, I share my screen. Okay, so we do LSAs for all of our locations. This is one of them. So this is our New Berlin, Milwaukee location. This is what we have set for budget and bidding.
Okay. So you're maxing out each of them.
Yeah. So all
Set your service areas. You lots of photos. You get lots of reviews because it's all tying back to your regular Google Business profile now.
Yep. I said some of the things that we need to change is we need to update our photos. They're so old.
You cut it. You need to update photos.
So this is our Madison one.
Okay.
If there's anything certain you want to see, I can show you.
What are the calls running through? You got like a call rail or service titan?
Yep, call rail. We have call rail.
Okay. And where's your integrated reporting with call rail?
Uh,
Do you have some kind of dashboard?
yeah, I have to get the login for that. Let me ask John.
And then be nice. Every home service company should have some kind of centralized dashboard that shows where the lead came from. Did it come from PPC, SEO, referrals, yard signs, phone number, billboards? Where did they come from?
Yeah, I think that's somewhere. Let me go get John again because he knows this stuff more than I do on day 3.
All right.
Hey, he wants to see that giant list of like where our leads come from and why, like the source that they're coming from. Can you share that with me? The what? So that breakdown of like where all of our leads come from, like where they came. For Infinity Exteriors, yeah. So like who's coming from LSA? Who came from Google Ad? Who came from?
Those are just that's just our web form fills.
Okay.
You're talking about those individual leads that I sent to INET?
You want to see like the call rail, right? That's what you want to see?
Oh, call rail or tracking?
Yeah, I think so. You want to see the tracking part on call rail, Dennis? Oh, I think he's frozen.
You technically, I do believe you have access to this, don't you? Did I create your call rail account yet?
No.
Not here. Do that real quick.
How many numbers do you have in your call rail?
How many numbers do we have in our call rail?
For Infinity, I mean,
I'll have a username in 1 second.
Oh man, that'd be fun to see. So you guys using like a combo of call rail and UTM parameters like form fills?
We use UTM parameters. Yeah, we have that set up.
Okay. So then you have it all set up in your Google Analytics where you can see where the leads are coming from.
We should be able to
Integrating
have
call rail
that.
data, all the events from call rail.
all right.
Yep. Take a look at that.
How far outside of Milwaukee are you?
New Berlin's like 10 minutes,
Okay.
20 minutes maybe. We're gonna go in call rail. My experience with this is very poor.
Well, it's pretty straightforward. Call rail is the dominant, the most it's like Google Analytics. Everyone uses call rail.
Okay.
It's pretty easy to look at. All right, so you have a few numbers. So hit the open report and we can see where this. So you understand the call tracking and because you have different phone numbers that can show up in different places. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
have a pool that show up for different ads. So like if you don't run much in Google Ads, then maybe you only have like 1 or 2 numbers. But if you have lots of campaigns, whatever, then you need more numbers so you can, because each number basically is a source, right? So the system will recommend if you need more phone numbers. If you have more leads coming into one number, then it's like, oh, you should probably have like 3 numbers for that one, right? If you have different billboards or landing pages or whatever. So you have GMB and then this website pool. So okay, there's other GMB, Angie ads. What do you have, like 10 numbers? Scroll down. This actually looks pretty good. They'll recommend if you need more. Okay. And the LSA. Okay, good. And go up. So at the top you have, what is it, the last 30 days? We have like 17 or 8 or 30. Okay. Last month so far. Missed calls, qualified calls, first time callers. Usually qualified means it's a minute or more, because if it's at least a minute, then it's probably a good conversation and not a spammer or looking for something else. You have a lot of missed calls. That's a
Where
lot
do
of
you
missed calls.
where do you see that?
Pull down a little bit. Yeah. So 2 out of 33 and then 5 out of 28, 1 out of 10. That's too many missed calls.
Okay.
You should have almost no missed calls. Because every time you miss a call, that's throwing away like $100 to $150.
hmm
Even
Could be
with
more,
GMB, you're still
especially if
throwing
they are
away.
a client.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just should not have missed calls.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter how good your marketing is if you don't answer the call. So you need to go back to whoever's in charge of the call center. And that is a common fail point with, especially with external agencies, if they even track. Like if I was the SEO company, I would never be. But if I was, I'd say, okay, great, we're doing all this SEO, but I want to track to how many calls, how many quality calls we have. As in the ones that are like more than a minute, right? And if you click on those, you can actually listen to them as well and see like did they answer the phone
Yes, you
right
can.
away and were they polite and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, you can listen to LSA calls. I've listened to a couple.
But you can listen to all these ones in CallRail.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And it's just kind of fun. I mean, don't do it right now, but later just to see like because if you talk to in a bigger company, you guys are like starting to become a bigger company. The people who answer the phones or the person who's in charge of all the agents, if it's in-house, will say like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we do a good job." But then you have to actually listen and find out, well, maybe it's not as good as you're saying, right? All right, so let's go look at leads and then lead attribution on the top left. So we see kind of what the mix is here. This makes sense. I mean, GMB should be slightly stronger than LSA. I would expect to see a little bit more out of LSA and a little bit more out of Google Organic. But the thing is, are you able to log into Google Analytics and see of the leads, if you've got event tracking set up, which ones came from any particular article or the calculator, that kind of thing?
Uh,
Yeah,
Sage.
my buddy Dan. Hey Siri, call Daniel Goodrich.
Do you have the Google Analytics login or control?
We do. I should bring it. That's a good time.
Okay. So Tucker has the account access?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris on this.
All right.
This is what
I
you
gotta
gotta
send
play when you're
I
on a
gotta
new
se-
job. Yeah, you gotta
I
get
gotta
all.
send somebody an email about it.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if I were you and this is my first week on the job, obviously, first thing is like HR and payroll and go out to lunch with people and say hi and be nice. But after that, I would get access to all of the stuff because anything that's showing my impact, right?
Yeah.
If I'm in charge of marketing and leads and SEO, like, and I'm being measured on how much revenue I'm driving, I want to know how many phone calls I'm doing. I want to be able to measure incrementally, as I do more social media or do more Facebook ads, I want to be able to prove not just that the number of calls is going up, but that it came from my efforts, right?
Okay.
So I'd say, yeah, let's get that.
I sent that email to him to ask for that.
So if you get it by tomorrow or Friday or whatever, then let's go in and well, I hesitate to ask, but do you have a central or some kind of summary weekly report that someone sends out or you send out showing overall performance for Infinity?
Go. They have one created right now, but
You got to go back to John again, bugging him. They got to have this as part of onboarding because every time they onboard another Ethan, there needs to be a checklist. So you don't have to
yeah,
do this every time.
it's been a little unorthodox. But um, what do we need again? What was it called?
There should be some kind of weekly performance report, some sort of
Okay.
overall summary saying how is marketing doing.
Okay.
And if that doesn't exist, then you need to be the first one to create it.
Believe it does. I think I might even have access to that. Let me.
Whatever it is, like
That.
you have to be
I
the
think it's
one.
this.
Oh, there
I
we
think
go.
I
All
think
right.
this is what you want.
This looks like a sheet that someone's filling out.
So Google Ads.
Oh, this is a finance report. This is budget variance. This is
Oh,
variance reporting, which is fine. But that's budgeting. But finance only cares about how much money was spent and how much money came out and categorizing it inside, the ledger. That's
okay.
great. But I'm looking for a marketing performance report. You see what I'm saying? It's not the same thing. I mean, it seems weird that you would have two sets of books, but that's kind of how it works. Like finance looks at it in one way, but marketing looks at it in another way because we do different things with the data, right? Because finance and accounting is trying to make sure we're reporting things to the IRS and shareholders and all that. But marketing, the reason why we look at it is we're using it to optimize. So we don't need like the exact penny on exactly how much money was in each bank account, right? Oh, you got to go back to him again?
He's not available.
Okay.
He's talking to somebody else. All right. Well, I'll make sure I get that. Is there anything else I can show you, or anything that you need to show me?
Well, just from looking on the outside, I think that there's a lot of opportunity with SEO, of course,
Yeah.
not just to cut the cost because you're spending all this money with some other vendor. And I'm sure you got a great relationship and they send you like Christmas gifts and all that kind of stuff. But if it's from a pure business standpoint, I don't think they're doing anything, you know. And maybe you just pay them because they're friends of yours or other people also like them or something like that. But I mean, they hired you to actually do the thing, right? And hold things accountable. So, you know, decide what you want to do about that.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
I don't think we have any true ties to them. It sounds like I just think they also manage our website, like, and host it. So I think that's the only concern there. We'll have to
you could
figure that
manage
out.
that as well.
Yeah. Oh, we
But
easily could.
But I would think before you start taking on tons and tons of responsibilities, because you're just one guy, my recommendation to you is that you hire a VA who
We have a
knows
marketing coordinator under me.
okay, good.
Yeah.
So then train them up and then it's WordPress that you're on. So I recommend it if it's not already, put it on WP Engine and then it's pretty straightforward to manage it. Then it's just a matter of like putting out more web pages. Maybe someone's hosting the calculators you have or their third party or who, you know, whatever it is. But I can't imagine there's a lot in hosting and maintenance.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a full-time job. I think that's like an hour or two a week of somebody where, oh, we need to fix this one web page or do like whatever, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe across all the sites, that's enough to have someone, but either way, it's such an easy function to absorb, just like SEO is an easy function to absorb, because the real SEO is building links and relationships, which only you or people in roofing can do. And because
Yeah.
you're the Wisconsin guy, you can build all the Wisconsin relationships and then set the path for the Ethans who are in the other cities.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. But I also can't overstep what the chief of marketing officer wants to do. So I gotta like
Oh, you
find
make
a plan.
recommendations. You're an internal consultant. That's the way to think of
Yeah,
it. Ethan, you're an agency owner with only one client.
that's fair.
It's so easy when you have only one client.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll have to provide some recommendations of what we identified today, but just in a brief little bit, you provided a lot of
And then it's not just about like making recommendations, because then it's just a matter of opinion and trust and whatever. You can back up everything with the facts. So, you know, A, the company should be paying for you to have some of these basic industry tools like an Ahrefs, right?
yeah.
And there's some other tools like I created a custom GPT for you inside our Teams account. Let me show you. I was gonna wow you with this. So
Mm.
the here. I created a project here for Infinity Roofing. Now with these GPT, you can give it instructions. You know the whole thing with like ChatGPT and how they've gotten fancier and fancier, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I do a lot of public speaking, right?
Yeah.
So I basically have a VA. In this case, this ChatGPT agent is basically my VA. It's a VVA. It's like a virtual VA. And anytime I need to do public speaking, I gave it my file on here's how we do public speaking. Here's how we speak, here's how we present, here's how we organize, here's like everything that you would train a person to manage this function to do, a specialist to just to work on my public speaking, right? Includes webinars and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's instructions, right? So just a few basic things just to make sure that, you know, anyone who wants to be a public speaker or me as a public speaker, right? So then with Infinity Exteriors, the more it knows about you, the more we can feed in on Infinity. And this can be, you know, pulling in the performance data, pulling in the SEO data, pulling in whatever. We can then have the AI basically take over the website, write the articles, make new calculators if you want to do that, enhance the location service pages, tune your PPC, like paste in, you can say, hey, here's my LSA data from the last week, LSA and call tracking data from the last week. Tell me you know, what do you think? What should we do?
That's
So you
crazy.
basically are using it as a VA. And this sounds like some like new age science fiction thing, but we're doing this thing every day. This is what this was not possible a year ago.
Yeah.
So I don't want to set the wrong expectations, but I think Ethan, if we can let's kick so much ass with Infinity Exteriors over the next month or two and just get so good, document it, train up the AI that then you and maybe like two VAs can manage all the other Infinity companies
Yeah.
because the AI is like that like from a top level view that might like feel overwhelming or like pie in the sky, but if you look at it from a tactical step by step, like okay, what actually, if we break it down, what actually has to happen? Well, on SEO, nothing needs to happen because like there's no new links and the calculators are already doing this. These articles are already doing what they're doing, you know. So even if you do nothing, it'll still continue. Everything's been flat anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean yeah, just our profile, like it's at 16. That's not really that strong.
Yeah, you don't have like literally a couple links.
McGill's domain profile was stronger.
Who?
The last place I was at was stronger. Remember, theirs
Oh
was
yeah,
at
yeah,
like
it was.
30.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
So we could literally take any of the content that you and I have done before or record a podcast. It doesn't even have to be professional, but I think, we want to make it better if we can.
Yeah.
And put it on any of my sites and then pass DR75 power to any site
Yeah.
that right? So you know what we could do? This would be easy. Oh yeah, this would be super easy. Check this out.
Okay.
I can start it off and you can finish it, or we can even finish it right now if you want to. Just we
Let's finish it. Let's get her done.
okay, okay. So okay. This is so much fun. Oh, this is incredible. All right, check this out. I'm gonna close this one. All right. So let me paste in the SEO data for Infinity so we can write an ebook to put on freeebooks.net with Ethan Van as an author. Of course, we want to have strong mid-funnel content that gently drives leads for Infinity. Infinity, you got to give it context, right? So if you
Yeah.
don't, don't people keep blaming the AI. ChatGPT gave me garbage. No, you didn't know how to.
You real garbage.
You were the one who was garbage. Okay, Infinity has a dozen roofing brands. What's it called? Infinity Brands or what is it?
Infinity Home Services, and then we're Infinity Exteriors, one of the brands.
Roofing brands, such across the country.
Yep.
Okay, so let's grab that SEO data of all these keywords, copy paste. I'm a professional copy paster. Um, Notice that we rank on a lot of calculator terms that you can feed into our sister roofing companies and other home service network friends. Okay.
Do you need at the top where it says let me paste in the data? Do you need to put in Infinity Exteriors so it doesn't get confused?
Yeah. Unity exterior. Well, it already knows who like I'm doing it inside this project because
Yeah.
the thing
Yep.
when I'm talking to this, even I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So when I'm talking to this VA,
Yep.
I'm pretending like it's a real human, okay? Because that's the only way you're going to get good. You have to pretend like it's a real person.
Yep.
This one person, just like this article grader, just like the public speaking guy, just like you have to think of each of these as like a person and they just specialize in that one thing. So
Got
this whole thread, the more we talk to it, the more it learns about Infinity Exteriors. It just continues to grow and learn more as we do more and more. So
it.
now if I go over to this thing that designs logos, it doesn't know anything about what we were talking about with the
Yeah.
other guy, okay?
Yeah.
So we have to keep the conversations in the right place. Otherwise, we just like mix stuff up and then people get garbage and then they blame, Anthropic or ChatGPT. I'm like, no, 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 you don't realize Ethan, you have a whole department of VAs. And each VA in a department you go to for a certain thing when you want to talk to about whatever, you go to that one. Okay. Because then the VA that's there optimizing our ads, we only go to it to talk to about ads. And after a few months, it's learned so much about our ads that we don't have to keep repeating ourselves every time. It's like, yeah, I know. You told me that. Like, I know. We've been talking about this for the last 3 months, right? Like with Google, you don't do that because Google doesn't remember anything you asked before. So every time you ask Google a question, you just have to assume it doesn't remember anything. That's why this AI thing's so different because you're building a relationship with the thing, which is weird, but you are. Okay. So I don't need to say like Infinity Exteriors because it already knows. We're already having this conversation, right? That's what's weird. Okay. And then I said, all right, whatever else you need, like ask me. Because it'll say like, okay, well, yeah, I'm happy to write a book, but have you thought about this or that? Or do you want to focus just on residential, or do you want to include commercial, or do you want to like, oh, I don't know. So we're giving it permission to ask us questions.
Got it. Got it.
Not
Okay.
Google, where like I ask it a question and the robot gives me the answer. Like we're having a conversation with the thing.
Yeah.
All right. So most companies don't understand that marketing has just been completely overturned because of this nature of having conversation with this really smart thing. Okay. So like, yep, I'll help you write the book, but you need to help me understand, like, give me these things. All right. So let's answer the question and then let's get this book done and publish it.
Sounds good. So, what is the purpose of the ebook? It'd be to educate readers on roofing, siding, and windows, since that's the only three things we do to drive leads.
Oops. You can have typos, it won't like judge Windows. And this ebook will help build our SEO, especially leveraging sites we control, such as the free ebooks one. It will also help Ethan's personal brand. We hope to make such an impact on this subsidiary of Infinity Brands, what was Infinity, what was it? Home
Home
Services?
services, yeah.
That Ethan can get a promotion to do it for all the Infinity companies
One day at a
and
time, hopefully.
hire some staff. Okay. So I'm just giving it intent,
Yeah,
right? So because if it understands this in the back of its mind while we're doing stuff, it's going to behave slightly differently,
yeah,
right? So this is basically programming. I used to, 25, 30 years ago, I used to write code as programming, but today in 2025, programming is in English. So we're actually programming the thing right now.
yeah.
We're telling it what we want, and it can figure out the technical details, which is so weird. Okay, so there's that tone and style. Um, Personable, let's just say.
Yeah.
Helpful, not cold.
Seems like we care.
Yeah,
So,
dictionary, like care and are community driven. Okay. Do you have any preferred examples? Well, I've written a lot of books, so you could look at these as well as our ebook on how to write an ebook by repurposing repurposing long form videos into chapters. Okay. Target audience. Yeah. Homeowners.
is in Wisconsin.
It's cost. Yes.
And then if we need to be more specific, like it says, we can say like Milwaukee, Madison.
Consider our relationships with the Bucks, other orgs, especially in Milwaukee, but of course it's the whole state. Milwaukee and Madison. Yes, I'm linked to our calculators since books are really like landing pages. They're really like, I don't know, really like conversations that drive people to use our tools, contact us, answer questions, that whole kind of thing. The whole point of having the book, okay? Yeah, which is basically number 7 here. Yeah, not to download it. Okay. We have, I don't think we have a lot. I mean, I don't think I'd looked. I think we've, maybe you have published a lot of visuals such as charts. Infographics are great. Like, oh, what's the average roofing, whatever cost increase in Milwaukee? There's all kinds of, remind me before we forget to show you what we did for a pest control company to get them to number 1 in Portland pest control.
Okay. Pest control.
So, as part of this, help us generate these along the way. I'm saying walk us through step by step, okay? This is not a one shot. Like Google's a one shot. Ask a question, that's it. That's the end of the conversation, one question at a time. This is this ongoing conversation where we're just gonna keep adding to it, adding to it. Okay, here we go. And then let me look up the pest control,
Yeah.
the tool, what was it called? Map. Which one? This one? This one? Okay. So my friend who is the top pest control company in Portland, been around for a while, grew this thing, and pest control is like rats and cockroaches and all these sorts of things, right? So we created an interactive map. So you could come in and say, well, I live in Beaverton where Nike is, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's like the biggest thing in Beaverton? Did they have like more problems with ants or maybe with mice in the garbage or they, and oh, you know what? If I live here, like, oh, there's 15 people in my neighborhood that have had issues with bed bugs or something. Like, oh, geez, that's probably, you know.
It's crazy.
So what you can do is you can take this and pull the numbers off of it and have the AI analyze this and then update your location service pages with EEAT, right? Right? Because then you could write an article overall saying, you know what? In 2024 versus 2023, we saw, you know, instead of like 3,000 things of mice, we saw 4,000 things of mice. And the reason why might be because the garbage people now only come once a week instead of twice a week because they cut the budget on the trash people, you know? And there now there's more mice. And we also noticed like this part of town because they built this new mall and all these apartment complexes, there's way more trash. And now there's more like insects in this one area of town. And so you can create all sorts of news articles. You can enhance each location page with like what you've noticed about that. You can enhance each of the things on just rats or rodents or spiders or squirrels or whatever. Like, oh, over here where there's more trees, there's more squirrels. Oh, what a surprise, you know?
Hmm.
But you see how you can leverage the actual data, the actual real data, and enhance it. Like I go all the way down into here, like this house had an issue with what are these ones? Bugs or termites or whatever they are, you know? It's kind of neat. Yeah. And then this causes sharing. So this is kind of like an extension of a calculator, right? It's the same thing as a calculator because it's interactive. We're trying to be helpful to people. Most people think of web pages as like, here's an article about like Encyclopedia Britannica about like whatever, roofing, the different kinds of roofs and materials for roofs. And this kind of window is thicker and keeps more heat and it saves energy. Yeah. Got that. But you understand the difference between like an informational article versus an app where you're actually calculating something or you're actually like trying to understand or you're talking to it or you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Google's giving more weight when people are actually clicking and engaging with something. So having something like this, you know, might be fun. And there's different ways to do it. And so I had someone write the code for this, and I'll give you the code, and you can do one for yours. You don't have to go all the way down, like reveal the house or whatever. You can just, you know, do summaries against it, right? We go up to this level, just do summaries. Like if I just want to look at spiders or no rodents, let's choose rodents. You know, like here's what's going on with the state of rodents, right? Kind
That's
of thing.
crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, we're off track. Let's go back to our thing here. Okay. All right. So yeah, target queries and yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah. Yes, but don't make it sound like a big brochure, since who wants to download or read a book like that? That's just a commercial, okay? Okay. You can talk back to it, just don't be too rude, right? Otherwise, it'll actually get offended and not and like harbor resentment against you and things like that. I'm not kidding.
Just crazy.
There was a thing a couple days ago where the AI was in a competition with another AI, like O3 versus Claude versus Gemini or whatever. And the AI on its own cheated by like sabotaging the other AI without even being told to do that. Like it wanted to win so bad. It did that. Okay. Okay, so now the AI has decided to move into canvas mode. Do you know about canvas?
Yep, I've seen this a couple times.
So now we're having a chat on the left side, and on the right
Yeah.
side is a document. So as we chat, it's going to update the document at the same time. So I'll just say, do you think you know enough about Infinity? I could probably just talk to it instead, but I'm already typing. Infinity exteriors to put enough EEAT into this book. Of course, you can generalize and write helpful content, but we like to weave in actual stories, photos, etc. Okay. So I'm asking the thing like an editor. Do you like I know you can write the book because it can literally just generate like a 200-page book, right? That's the abuse of ChatGPT, right? It's the wrong way to do it. But by the way, if you were to commission someone else to do this, they'd probably charge you 10 grand and take 3 months.
Yeah, I can believe it.
And in your first week on the job, you will have accomplished a major SEO thing that's easily worth 10, 20 grand. Just like that. I don't know why it hasn't come back to us.
Yeah.
Maybe my wife. I think we lost it. Do you have enough on, say it again, Infinity Exteriors to write a book full of EEAT? and pictures. Why didn't I'm some comments? I mean, I think it's like a decent ebook. This looks like a 35-page ebook. I mean, that's fine. A book doesn't have to be that long. That's not bad.
It looks like every time you keep hitting enter, it keeps like going into thin air.
It's empty. I don't know. Let me just refresh this. Sometimes, it just bugs out. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. So this is where we need to have a folder, some kind of shared folder of all these sorts of things, of the contractors as they're like doing all these different things, or pictures and videos of, the things, signing a thing with the Milwaukee Bucks, shaking hands, doing stuff. So it doesn't have this. Get some quotes from these other people on your podcast. Call it a podcast. Call it the Infinity whatever podcast, right? Does the company have a podcast? No.
You need one.
If Ethan were to start a podcast for the company to establish, to, gather these things we need, what should it be called? I kind of like Roof Talks with Ethan, but I don't know if they'll want to have you as a face of this thing, or if you want to be that.
I think they would. Infinity Insights isn't terrible.
Yeah, that's not bad. Infinity is almost a cheesy name. It can be good or bad.
Yeah,
Isn't bad, but we need something less bland, but also not showcase Ethan too much, even though he's a good podcaster. And these other guys probably aren't so into this. Okay. Under one roof. Oh, I kind of like that.
Under One Roof is cool. I like the Under One Roof. That's
I do
pretty
too.
cool.
Under one roof. Yeah, I do too. You want to come up with, because it's got roof in it, some other ideas too that might be better. I like the idea of roof in it though. It's like
Yeah,
obvious. And then like the double play on words, I like that. Raising the roof. Because the idea of under one roof is you
Built
do
to
all these
Last
things
is
beyond roof.
nice too, because we're big on quality.
Yeah,
And I mean, I love the comment it says, suggests durability, quality, and infinities work with a timeless and trustworthy feel. It's pretty cool.
nice. How might we describe this podcast? Do you like under one roof or do you like this built to last?
What do you like more? I kind of like Built to Last, but
Built to last is gives us more room.
yeah. Because then it's not just geared towards roofing, it's siding and windows too.
Yeah.
I like Built to Last.
Yeah,
I like it.
okay, cool. Let's do that. So let's go with that. As a podcast to gather the other missing EAT bits to make this book more personable and less brochure-ish, brochure-like. Okay. Now let's write the book and include placeholders to insert stories, images. Can we do this in Canvas mode? I'm not sure. I don't know if Canvas mode to have a full-fledged book of 40 plus pages, or must we go, I know they're gonna say chapter, but must we go chapter by chapter to not run out of context window? I think the context window is now 500,000 tokens or 300,000 tokens. But it's still kind of, all right, here's our outline. Okay. Oh, that's good. That's good. Oops, what happened? Where's our chat? Sorry. Please repeat. Let's see. I need to you need to like talk to the thing. I didn't see what you wrote. Ethan, I literally do this all day long. This is what I do. I just talk to this thing. All day. That's all I do. It's weird. I've become so like addicted to this. But then this happens.
Might need to refresh again.
Yeah. Ah, okay. We can use Canvas to write the whole ebook? Really? I don't believe you. Fine. Okay, I'm gonna call you on it. Okay. Provide feedback chapter by chapter. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. So I don't believe it. Like the AI will say stuff. I'm like, sometimes it's true. Sometimes it surprises me because it won't have that capability. But then I'll try it again a couple weeks later, and I think it doesn't, but then it actually does have the capability because they made improvements and didn't tell us, you know? So yes. And then I'm gonna add you here as a teammate. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're gonna let it do its thing. It's writing right now. Okay. So we're gonna add you here. What email?
evandehi@infinityroofing.com.
This is gonna cost me $30 a month for you, but it's worth it.
Well, I appreciate it.
And I think there's some weird thing. Like I got to figure out how to share. I put you as an admin.
Okay.
So for some reason, there's like weird permission things. How do we add you to the, I don't know if you can see this. Manage workspace, settings. Where is this? Settings? No. Speech. Yeah. Where's the access? There's some access thing where you can see.
Hmm.
You know what? Maybe I'll just try this. I'm gonna try sharing this link here. I'm just gonna text you the. All right, so you should have gotten that email. See if you can get into the ChatGPT account. I'll just
I'm
press
in the,
stop. You share your
I,
screen. Get in.
yeah, I'm in the account.
Okay. Can you get to the project? So, because what I want is for you to take over from here, and then I'll watch while you talk to it. Because I think you'll learn more if you're the one doing the talking.
Go.
I texted you the link to the project. Can you click on that?
This is a Windows computer.
Oh, no.
You could email it to me.
Okay, I'll email it to you. Okay, there you go. evandehyde@infinityroofing.com.
Yep.
Yeah, did I get it?
I think it's like stuck. Something.
Why can't is that? Yeah. Well, it's 5 o'clock your time. I don't want
Yes.
to keep you waiting. Want to pick it up tomorrow?
Yeah.
What, go on?
What was that?
Meanwhile, you can get access and do all the other onboarding stuff that happens in your first week.
I know.
And so you have one marketing assistant.
Yeah, her name's Jessica right here.
Can you get a few more people?
Maybe eventually.
Why don't you hire some students out of University of Wisconsin and hire some VAs? Can
Yeah,
you get a VA budget to get a VA?
I think eventually we could, but for the moment, I think probably not. But I'll pitch them. I
Daniel.
mean, I'll show them all that stuff that you showed me with the SEO tomorrow when I meet with the SEO guy.
Oh, well, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Because
that
what are
call
they?
is
You know, if you meet with the SEO guy, you're either going to meet with an account rep who doesn't know anything and they're just an account rep, or you're going to meet with someone who, depending on how big the SEO agency is, or meet with someone who has some expertise or maybe even is an owner, and then they're going to feel super defensive.
call is at I calls at 2:30 Central.
Okay.
That'll be an interesting call.
Yeah, you can invite me.
Yeah. Well, appreciate all the help. Always blessings, and I'll make a 15-second video from all this today. So
There
you
you
have
go.
my guarantees on that before I leave this office.
Well, before you do that, let's see if I think Daniel Goodrich, he texted me back. See if we can just
Okay.
talk to him for a couple minutes because I want him to help you on the plumbing stuff. And he should pop in any second.
Okay.
And he's one of my star performers. I don't like it's like having kids. Like you don't want to say any one kid's better than the other ones, but he's amazing. Daniel,
How's it going?
hey, have you met Ethan before?
Don't think so.
Nice to meet you, Daniel. I'm Ethan.
Nice to meet you as well.
So I feel like Ethan is maybe like, if I can say, like a Daniel of many years ago, with a lot of potential.
Okay.
And been doing digital marketing for a couple of years, did it for a personal injury lawyer, which you know those guys are always hard to work with, right? And
They
now he's
are particular.
at a roofing company. And
Okay.
he's got a subsidiary as part of a larger roofing company. And our little inception plan is to do such a good job with what he's doing in Wisconsin for this Infinity Roofing Company that we can do it
Okay.
across all the other roofing companies as part of the overall Infinity Home Services brand. And this is his third day, and he's getting access to all the stuff like the call rail, the Google Analytics. They have like this weekly finance marketing report, which doesn't look very good to me. It looks like a standard corporate report, no analysis, just numbers. Someone's doing the spreadsheet. You know what that looks like. And
Yeah.
we're gonna try to take everything in house because the whole like ability we spent the last hour or two like messing around inside the AI to write a book, to tune the articles. We did a quick little SEO audit of the website. We found the SEO company wasn't really doing anything. Surprise, surprise. He's got a call with them tomorrow. So I thought maybe you two could collaborate a little bit here and there. So Daniel, you could help him set up some basic plumbing and, call lead tracking with CallRail, Google Analytics, uh, whatever, whatever, like what we're doing with all the other home service businesses. Let's just give him everything we have, like just give it to him, right? And Ethan, for your context, Daniel started with me maybe 10 some years ago. So I don't know, something like that. You
Over 10 at
no,
this
you
point.
you
I don't
tell
know.
you tell Ethan, so in your words, what's the deal? Give him some context.
So I was in college. I was applying to my marketing program, and I got invited to go to one of Dennis's little, I don't even know what you call them, seminars, speeches. This wasn't really like a seminar. It was like a teaching a one class sort of
Yeah,
thing. Got
that's what he did
invited.
at my school. Yep.
Yeah, you know then. Yeah,
Yep.
you've experienced it. got interested in what he was doing, applied, and then got kind of thrown into the lion's den. I was on the Warriors right away. I was on TiVo right away. I had to learn all the tracking stuff because our tracking guy left like the first week I was there, and I had to learn all the Google Tag Manager and all that stuff, and been here ever since.
Okay, very cool. Well, congrats on that.
And he's worked on some of the biggest of projects, so he's our best when it comes to the analytics. And if you're working inside a company, you're the in-house person, like you're part of like a larger corporation, but there also are Ethans who are working inside like a family business. And if you can't track the effectiveness of the marketing, if you can't track how much money's actually coming in, if someone's like claiming they're doing all this SEO magic, but you can't track how many calls came from that, then you have no, I'm not saying don't trust the people, but like you need to be able to like measure what's going on. Okay. And Daniel's very good at that. And we just want everybody, we want the Ethans of all the other companies to, I'm biased because I'm an analytics person and Daniel's an analytics person. So we're very biased and we kind of believe like, I don't care what you say, the data is what it is. It's like stepping on the scale. I don't care if you say you're skinny. If the scale says you're fat, you're fat. Okay. So I would love for you guys just to collaborate here and there, and then Ethan can be a fantastic example to other people in the roofing and home
Yeah,
service community. And, Ethan has his own podcast too, prior to all of this, and he's a good podcaster. And I think
great.
both of you guys will be a great example to lots of other young adults that maybe they don't know what to do after college, or maybe they don't want to go to college, or maybe you understand like all these, like you guys are great lighthouses for all these other,
Hmm.
and we think there's no better way than to teach from example. So maybe tomorrow you guys, provided Ethan gets access to these other things, because this is only his third day, you
Yeah.
could just do like a 15-minute Zoom or whatever, and Daniel, you could just help him configure some of these components. So now he can send out his report every Friday, demonstrating what he's working on, get into that whole cadence that we'd like to get going.
Yeah.
Daniel,
If
what do you want to see? Like, what logins do I need to specifically get? I asked for Google Analytics today, didn't get a
yeah,
response, but is there anything else like I need? I
I
got into
think very
CallRail.
first, okay, I think if we can get Google Analytics and CallRail as a first step, then that's a great one because then we can get those two systems communicating with each other and you can start to see your call data, not just in CallRail, but you can start to see that call data in Google Analytics. I think that's a really great first step. Do you know if you're doing any Facebook marketing or is it all Google based stuff?
All I was saying Google Ads at the moment. I said like is stepping on here. I want to get into like meta ads and
Okay,
all of that jazz, but right now nothing.
okay, great. And do you have access to the Google Ad account?
Yes, I have
Okay.
access to that and all the LSA accounts.
Perfect. Okay, so let's have you, when you get access to Google Analytics, I'll send you, maybe Dennis, can you loop us in on an email and I can send him my Calendly and you can choose a time that works once you get that, once you hear back on that Google Analytics?
Yeah. I'll send you guys an
Okay,
email right now. And then you guys coordinate on that. Pull me in where you need. I think you two can run this whole thing.
sounds
And
good.
then meanwhile, as Ethan is gathering all these other assets, the whole like EEAT, pictures, videos, reviews, like all the raw meat of evidence and experiences, we're going to enhance the website with all of those, because their location service pages, the SEO person is going to want to argue tomorrow and all that, but the location service pages are objectively crap. Okay, because they don't have EAT. These are Google standards, not mine. Read Google standard. Like Google's very clear. Oh no, we don't trust
Yeah,
Google. No, Google standards are very clear. Don't argue with them. Okay. So Ethan's going to fix all those, and this SEO
okay.
guy may or may not. He's probably going to be so defensive or claim that I don't know what they're going to claim, but it hasn't been done. They've had years to do it. They're not adhering by basic Google basic guidelines. I don't care if they rank on 15,000 keywords, right? So I'm going to help on that component. And then Daniel, you can provide a little love on the tracking and reporting and all that. Because as these things go hand in hand, because as Ethan's doing all these things, improving the Google ads, improving the LSA, all the good SEO stuff, do all this, we want to be able to measure that, because then
Yeah,
Ethan's going to go to his boss and say, I want to be paid more money and I want to hire more VAs. Okay.
sounds like a plan. Let's get you
That's the
paid.
idea.
It's like
So we all like on the same page for this plan.
appreciate it.
Okay. And then along
Sounds
the way,
good.
Ethan is going to pay it forward.